Good morning, veterans. My name is Ed Washington, and I will be your instructor for this part of and we'll mainly be talking about the introduction. Let me begin by saying that looking for a job is stressful. You will have concerns, and I'll say legitimate concerns about rejection. What are some of the things that stress you? Anyone? What's some of the things that stress you, cause you stress?
Talking about my work history.
Talking about work history. What's another one?
The gap in time between my work
Hey,
history and
trying to explain that, huh? But that's legitimate. There are going to be some rejections, frustration. Then thinking about when doing something new. There's fear of new experiences, especially if you have a felony history. Especially felony histories. So explaining that and having to talk about it, because at some point, some of your application, you at some point that employer gonna ask you, and there you are, all tensed up, anticipating that question. The last thing a person want to hear is that I done my time, I served my time. Don't nobody want to hear that. So it's very important how you address that issue. And the main thing you want them to know is that you've changed, that you're a different person. And all you need really is an opportunity to demonstrate that. And, hopefully they'll be willing to give you that opportunity. But hey, that doesn't mean that you won't get a job. Quite the contrary. In fact, if you submit a good application, good resume, and you apply that resume to a specific job, that's going to improve your chances. The first thing we need to realize, we're not going to get every job that we apply for. On the other hand, the more we apply, the more chances we'll have of being hired. And the better prepared you are, the better your chances of being hired. Getting hired is a numbers game. Let's talk about those numbers. Now you see a lot of things that hurt us when we job seeking is that we think that if we put in a few applications, we ought to get hired. But the numbers game work against that. Well, let's just say an employer was trying to hire a maintenance worker. 20 people applied for the job, and he was going to select the employee by pulling a name out of a hat. Okay, what would be the chances of you being hired?
5%.
5%. Okay, the good thing about it is that it's not the way. They're not going to pull names out of a hat. So there's no reason to get discouraged. And think about the fact, too, you're looking for full-time work. Full-time work, looking for full-time work is a full-time job. Say 20 people did apply for a job. I need you to think about the fact that you're not going to be the only one that's going to make some mistakes, and other folks are too. Some of those other folks and we're going to go through and show you how the numbers game work. We're starting with 20 people. 3 people not even going to be qualified. I've applied for jobs before. Why not? What do you have to lose? Maybe to fill out an application or something, and a little time spent, and who knows, you might get hired. But the chances are, if you don't have the skills that the employer is looking for, like I said, he got plenty of people. It ain't like he in a crunch and he got to choose. He got 20 people. So those people that doesn't have the skills that he's looking for, they disqualified. Also, we're gonna have 3 people that's gonna mess up on the application. It's gonna either be messy, mainly if it's not messy, and now we going using the computer. Ain't so much about the spelling, misspelled words, but it's leaving something blank. We don't want to ever leave anything blank on the application. If it doesn't apply to you, we're going to simply say NA. It's not applicable. Put something in the blank. And the more specific you are, the better. If a question asked, we don't never want to be using words like several, or many, or a whole lot. What is that? You know, we trying to make it as easy on the employer as we can for him to understand what we're trying to present. Because we got a product we're trying to sell. What is that product? Thank you. It's you. You're the product. All right. I like to use the VA as an example when I talk about the person who, when they get a call to come in, already have found a job. Sometimes it's a long process getting hired, even though maybe you know that you gonna get an interview. It could take months sometimes to get hired. So you ain't got a month. Some people gonna already have already taken a job when they get the call. At least one person. And then we're gonna have something, we'll say one more person. We'll say they're gonna show up late. They going to the interview, they just gonna show up late. What happens when you show up late for an interview?
Bad impression.
I'm gonna give you the bottom line. You don't get hired. Plain and simple. With you, somebody can't even get there on time for the interview. I'm gonna be thinking, hey, if I hire him, he not gonna even, or her, they're gonna be late for the job. This is crucial. We'll have 3 people when asked during the interview, they done got into the interview, and the man says, or the lady says, why don't we begin by you telling me about yourself? Well, I was born in Smithland, Texas. Been a Cowboy fan all my life. I got 3 sisters, and I'm the 5th of 6 children. And one of my favorite foods is strawberry ice cream. Keep the personal stuff off the table. Nobody's really interested in whether or not you're a Cowboy fan or not. In fact, they may be a Saints fan. You know, so, you know, there you are. You're an enemy already. So now, you don't want to go in there and talk about, I voted for Hillary, or I voted for Trump. Politics, anything that's controversial. If you can stay away from that, you want to try to stay away from it. And you know, religion and politics and things like that can be controversial. You don't want that. Don't nobody even need to know whether you're a Democrat, independent, you know. What's that got to do with your ability to do the job? That's what he's listening for. He want to hear something about your skills. We don't want to try to memorize nothing. Even in your opening statements, you know, you want to, because if you're trying to memorize, I always find out you'll get to a word or something and cause you to stumble and it just get you all messed up. I need you to know your opening statement. Somebody wake you up at night and say, hey, what's your mama name? Let me see, her name is, no. You ain't got to commit it to memory, you know it. It's some things you know. We're going to have 2 people when asked to talk about problems they had in the past, they're going to talk about things. They might say, well, at that time I was using drugs, or just lie, just flat out lie, as opposed to saying something like, I was having personal problems at that time. And since that time, those problems have been resolved. And it could be true. It could be a personal problem. You could have been taking care of an aunt or an uncle or something who's passed away now, unfortunately. But anyway, that's a problem you don't have anymore. You're not tied up. That gap that you had in your employment, that's when you was taking care of older brother or younger brother. But now he's recovered, and that will no longer be a problem on this job. We're going to have a couple of people that's going to talk about their skills. When they get in that interview, they're going to be able to say, well, say if he was a truck driver, I have a 1,000,000-mile award where I've driven 1,000,000 miles and no accidents or incidents. He haven't tore up anybody's trailer, tractor. So they're going to talk about their skills. But talking about our skills is not enough. Just saying you can do something doesn't really mean that you can do it. So every time, when given opportunity and you describing your skills, you need to talk about where you did this. You know, while I was in the Army, we done this job while we was in the military. We veterans, disciplined. I was responsible for going and picking up the noon chow and bringing it back, whatever. Talk about where you acquired the skills and where you used them, and you can even say how efficient you were on that job. All that's good. I'm just letting you know, I want you to talk about your skills. You need to talk about your skills. But if you don't have no proof, and proof is when you tell them, I did this for ABC Company. I worked at Washington Industries or something. You know, you definitely need to tell them where you did it and where you acquired the skills, and that you are able to do what you say you can do. We don't need the employer wondering, now he said this and he said that, that he could do this and he could do that. But if you ain't said nothing about where you did it and who you did it for, you might have him wondering if you can really do it or not. Okay, I'm going to add one more. This person here is worse than this person. This person here was late for the interview. We say if you're late for the interview, you're not going to get hired. But this person here didn't even show up for the interview. Changed their mind. Whatever. Okay. I believe we eliminated 16 people. Okay. 16 people gone, only 4 people left. And if 4 out of 20, instead of we had this 5% chance start now, we have now went to a 25% chance of being hired. That's the numbers game. In this program, we're going to teach you how to fill out applications, help you with your resume, be able to describe your skills, and also be able to talk about your felony, where we'll be able to move you from having a 5% chance to having a 25% chance. The main thing I'd like to leave with you, the better prepared you are, the better chances you will have of being hired. Thank you very much.